I've always loved maternity photo shoots. They're such a beautiful way to capture a moment of transition for the mom, and there's often so much creativity poured into them. But when it came to me, I almost didn't have one. Why? Because I knew for sure I did not want to spend hundreds of dollars on a shoot. And as a creative myself, I felt like it was absolutely something I could do myself. So, at the very last minute, like 38 weeks pregnant last minute, I decided to try a DIY photo shoot right here at home. So once I actually decided that I was doing a maternity photo shoot, I decided to do two different types of photos. Because why not, right? I started with the silhouette photo because it's such a simple but powerful way to highlight the shape of pregnancy. And all you need for this setup is some sheer curtains, a strong backlight or window, and a little creativity. So I set up my share curtain right in front of my window and stood in front of that window to take my photos. And here it's just the process. You will see what the real photos look like at the end. Once that setup was done, I moved on to the main setup where I started by pinning the white to the wall with push pins. Now I had a whole idea of how I wanted this look to look. And so for this, I was just using a basic plain white curtain that we had also used for my baby shower to kind of block off the kitchen area. So I needed a better reach for that though. So yes, as you can see, I grabbed the chair and that's me, okay? Stepping on a chair at 38 weeks, very pregnant, but also very determined the look that she's looking for. So I was hoping on a prayer that this chair would not let me down. Once I got up, I was able to stretch the curtain how I wanted and get a better reach to actually push the push pins into the wall. Okay, so now that the backdrop is all set up, I started by adding these faux flowers, which were actually from my baby shower. Now I saved them because I knew at some point I would need them for something because as a creative, that's just what you do. So I saved them because I knew I probably would need them for something at some point, and they ended up being the perfect detail to soften up this backdrop. I am just laying them out, alternating between the types of flowers, and really just going without no rhyme or reason to get the look. Now, this is what it ended up looking like, and I was also hoping that the wrinkles would not show up in the photos. Now that the backdrop is set up, it's actually time to get the most important part going, the outfit. Okay, so now when it came to the outfit, again, I had an idea of what I wanted. But listen, my goal for this photo shoot, considering one, how late I decided to have one, was to not spend a dime for this shoot. So I decided to not buy anything new. I just repurposed a lace tablecloth that we used for dripping the tables as a runner at my baby shower. That's what my outfit was going to be made out of. I knew the look that I wanted, soft, simple, and a little whimsical. But figuring out how to actually wrap it to achieve that look, that was the real challenge. Okay, so here you can see I was fiddling with it and figuring out how to style it to get the look that I was going for. Finally, I was able to double wrap it and pass it around the bra area and the breast to really achieve for that look. And then I twisted it as you saw, passed it over one shoulder and then passed it again underneath the middle to create like a V-neck and then, just wrapping it around. I was really just figuring it out as I go to get the look to show how I imagined it in my mind. So now that the top was done, I moved on to the bottom part. Again, it was another piece of lace. And as you can see, I have a black tights on. So I had to really double it up because I didn't want the black tights showing through the outfit. So I just wrapped, and after I figured out how to really lay it properly, I wrapped it around and then I took another piece and wrapped around the back and just secured it under my belly right here. Like you see, I secured that with a pin and then I wrapped it around and then tucked it in and just really figure it out. I was trying to figure this out as I go, trying to put it over one shoulder, wrap it around another shoulder. Listen, it was a mess, but in the end, it did come through. Okay. What if we run out of time and second chances? Now that I've achieved the look, it's time to get to snapping. And these are the results. Are they studio perfect? No, but they're mine, captured in my home in the final days of pregnancy using pieces that already held meaning. And if you're wondering whether you can do your own maternity shoot, you absolutely can. All you need is a little time, determination, and imagination.